anyone watching is interested, there is our health and well-being guidelines on the landing page for the competition off of homebrewersassociation.org. And the biggest things were capacity in the building. So we have a 20,000 square foot warehouse, and we capped our capacity at 100 total, and that includes judges, competition staff, and stewards and table captains. So you're really restricting the overall amount of judging you can get done in a day. But that was important. We had single pass-through ventilation at all times. So I can't remember how long it would take to actually recirculate all of the air in the warehouse, but it was happening multiple times a day. And then just having those fans moving fresh air through at all times was a huge comfort for the judges to feel safe, and anyone else in the area. Required face masks at all times for anyone walking around. Obviously, judges wouldn't have to wear them when they were judging, but everyone was required to wear a face shield at all times, no matter what, whether you're judging, competition staff, steward, table captain, whatever. And that's that's just because of time. Like, you are in the same room with all these people for more than 3 or 4 hours. You need double protection based on CDC guidelines. So face mask, face shield, hand sanitizer everywhere. Really cut down on the overall amount of touching that was done. So table captains were the only ones touching cups and bottles. So they're the ones preparing entries that go out on trays to the judges. Stewards are never touching any of those things. And judges are taking their particular cup off of the tray themselves and getting rid of all of the cups when they are done back into the trash or recycling. Each judge is handling their own paperwork. I think in a even more perfect world, we would have some sort of electronic judging, which would prevent any sort of paperwork happening, and they could use their own.
I know a solution for that problem.
Yeah, I know you do. And they, but like, that being said, it's, we kept every judge was 6 feet apart. We had 4 judges at each table, never more, never fewer, because we needed 2 judges in each pair and 4 at a table. Those are kind of like the really big highlights. All the meals were served outside. Yeah, I think I would just go through. I mean, anyone who's interested, it's published for anyone to look at, and those are some of the bigger things that we were requiring. Obviously, monitoring anyone who's not feeling well. Definitely don't come in, even if it's just something slight. We would have dismissed them for the week if they said they weren't feeling well. The last thing you want is an outbreak and for people to get sick. So you take it seriously, and it just adds this extra layer of something else you have to be thinking about other than the process of getting the judging right and making sure everything is sorted correctly. And it's always in the back of your head if it's not in the front. As the competition is going, you're not thinking about, is there going to be an outbreak? You would never get anything done, but it's in the back of your head the entire time. And because of that, that's what forced us to have to do the judging for a week. So it's like physically draining as well as emotionally and mentally draining, because you're used to doing a competition in a weekend, like 2 or 3 days max. And now we're looking at Monday through Sunday, a very strict amount of judges. So it was 40 judges a day, hoping they all show up, making, being flexible enough where if one doesn't, you have to fill one in, or like somehow deal with some issue of a judge who can't make it, or whatever the reason is. That stress level goes way up because you can't just pack judges into a room like you are maybe used to as a competition organizer. You are doing a ton of communication beforehand. The amount of communication I did with judges before was the most I have ever done in a competition. I was sending at least one email a week of like one big thing that they needed to do or remember or learn prior to. We did an orientation video, which was mostly focused on new procedure because of health and well-being guidelines that were put in place. And yeah, it was physically exhausting and emotionally taxing. But what made it a little easier was everyone understood it because of that communication up front of like, this is what we're doing, and we need you all to follow these protocols, and we are going to be monitoring these protocols, and we're not trying to police you and shame you. It's more of like, we're trying to keep everyone safe and comfortable, and comfort levels vary, and you need to be accommodating the person that is most worrisome based on the situation that we're all in. And actually most people are going to appreciate that, and they're going to understand, and they will, as long as they know what they're getting into, things will be okay, as despite it being more stressful and more work and longer days and more drawn out. So it's a good question. It was a lot for sure. I cannot wait to not have to do it. Judges were the only ones allowed to sample. So stewards couldn't sample any beer, table captains, myself, any competition staff were never allowed to sample any competition beer the entire week. And that's a huge thing. I mean, it's like a huge perk to come help, right? You get to try these award-winning beers if you're a steward or a table captain or a staff. Like, I love mead and cider, and I didn't get to try any of it. But like, that was just something that we were very upfront about and very honest about why we were doing that. And that's because you're transferring, hands are touching things, transferring of liquid, you're trying stuff, people want to smell other stuff. It's very hard to monitor. So we had to make the tough choice to just be like, only judges can sample. And that was it. So, obviously sacrifices were made to put it on, but I think it was worth doing because we get to celebrate now all these winners and get back to a sense of, I think, don't think at it, don't go from it from a point of I'm at it alone. Like, people are going to be willing to help you, myself included. Obviously, maybe not like physically be able to help you, but knowledge based and information based, a lot of people are willing to help and answer questions on how to go about something. And that alone is a really valuable resource as an organizer, and really speaks to the overall just community that we're in as homebrewers and in the beer community at large. So that'd be my final say on organizing competitions right now. And then I just wanted to say thank you to anyone who entered or helped out with the National Homebrew Competition, you guys included, for helping sponsor as well.